Hey, this is Flatlander Mike from Saskatchewan, Canada, and haven't done very many videos in the last little while, so I figured gonna start servicing my tracks. So I thought I'd do a little short video to let you know what's involved and any tips, whatever. So we're gonna start with some I guess putting this track together. I'm doing a front one right now. I've got all the idlers and everything and the guide wheels on the ends off, and already done the back ones, and I did find a bent shaft, so I'll go through that and tell you what to look for. But this one here seems good. It's got a similar shaft, but not quite the same. So they are different. There's more wheels on one side than there are on the other on the front tracks than the back ones. So anyway, we'll just pause for a minute and we'll continue on. Okay, so here we have all the idlers. There's 4 of these large ones. These are for the ends, and there's 2 bearings in each one. And here we have the small idlers in between. Now one side of the front has 4 and the other one has 3. So I'm going to just go through what we had to do to do them. So what you got to do is I use an impact, a 1/2-inch impact. Take the bolts out on each one. So basically you pull the caps off, the rubber caps. It's here, they're all cleaned up. Pull the rubber caps off, and then there's a bolt in there with a big washer. There's a bolt, and there's a big washer. It's a 17 millimeter, so it just goes in the end, holds that wheel on. They have Loctite, blue Loctite on them, stop them from coming out. So when you reassemble it, you got to make sure you put blue Loctite back on. One has red, and you want to use the red for that one. And this one here, the fronts have one with red, and you can tell it's red here. And that's a little shaft, kind of a Y-shaped shaft, and so 2 idlers go on one side, and then it goes through the frame, and then there's another idler on the other side. So that one on that side uses red Loctite, and I think it's because it swivels back and forth. Okay, so this is the Y shaft. Now if you look at it, it's not exactly straight across, so it curves down on each side here. There's a shaft that goes through the frame, and on each side there are these bushings. Now this is a shaft that has a bend in it. I'll show you where it's bent. But these little tapered neoprene bushings go on each side. So there'd be one here and one on the other side. Fits into the frame. And then on this end, there's a little, it's kind of a sleeve, goes on like this. And this pushes up against the bushings, squeezes the bushings inside. And then the idler wheel goes on here, and then the bolt goes in here. Now, if you look in here, that's got red Loctite on that. So we're going to use red Loctite again on that one. So anyway, so this one's all cleaned up. I've got all the wheels cleaned up. What I do is, because you put oil in here, gear oil, 5 milliliters of oil in here, and put the cap on. You do that before, like in the fall, before you put them on. So because of that, the oil gradually seeps through and washes out the grease in it. So You're supposed to service them once a year, every year, in the spring when you take them off. But I'm 2 years now, and I had decided, well, it's washed out. And what happens is the seal in the back, which the seal is just basically a lip that goes on, and then that seal goes on the shaft, the stub shaft, and then goes in there. And that seals, all it does is just seal that. But eventually the gear oil comes out, seeps through the seals here in the bearing, and then it washes the grease out. So, and it leaks out around here. So when I took it apart, all these seals have got a bunch of gravel stuck all around here from the gear oil. The gear oil's pretty thick, and the grease. So anyway, you want to clean everything. I go through and I clean the back because there's gravel on here, and sometimes it builds up around the wheels. So I clean them all off, spray them down with brake clean, and wipe them all off. So now they're fairly clean. So when I'm packing the bearings, I don't get gravel inside the bearing and then wreck the bearings. So anyway, so next we're going to pop the seals out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease. Now I'm using, this is low temperature grease so that it moves when it's cold. I'm going to pop the seal out. I got a pointy awl, and I'm going to stick it in on the inside of the lip very carefully, and I'm going to pop that out. So see, now we got the bearing is available. I can pack that full of grease. Now I'm going to do the same with the other side, the back side. Now these are two different sizes. So the inside one is just a wee bit bigger than the other one. So make sure you put the right seal. Okay, so then I'm going to just wipe this out a bit. There's still quite a bit of grease. Not a lot, but some. So, and then I'm going to take this turkey baster that I bought from the dollar store. It's a needle, and this is for putting food inside a turkey into the meat when you're cooking it. So anyway, so what I do is I just fill it up with grease, or put about half full, and then I take it and I squeeze it in. So then it just goes into all the spaces there. When I started out, I was just packing it in with my finger, which does work too. But this seems to work a little bit better. So now I've got enough. Okay, so I'll fill up this needle again, and we'll do some more. Okay, so we got more grease in here, so I'm going to just show you. I'm going to squeeze more grease in here. Now, honestly, I don't know if there's a seal on the back side or not. There could be. But I'm going to press some grease in there. Make sure we're packed. Now, if you could tell the old grease is a little pink. So they used red grease. Now I saw some at Canadian Tire, which is where I bought this grease. It was called Sticky Red Grease. Now I think I'm just about out of this grease, so I'm going to buy a tube of the Sticky Red, and I'm going to do an experiment and see how much better that stays. Okay, so now you see there's some pink on the grease still on the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe that off. This is the seal. Okay, so then I'm just going to check it, make sure it's not bent when I pop it out. So then I'm going to stick that in, pop it back in. I think that's a big one. Yep. See? Pop that back in, push it back down into the bearing, and wipe off the excess grease. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other side, the outside one. Okay, so here we go. We're going to just kind of hard to get my hand on there. The grease makes it slippery. Okay, just squeeze a little more on there. Okay, now I'm going to just push it in with my finger. Pack it manually. Get a little extra grease here. I'm going to make sure it's packed in there. Okay, now in between the bearings there's a little space, probably 1/4 of an inch. Maybe a little less. So now I'm going to take some grease and I'm going to shove it into that space. Just stops it from getting corrosion in there too. If you get a little moisture in the bearings. Because rust is one of the worst things for bearings. Okay, so we got that done. Okay, so we're going to put the other one back in. Wrong side. That one in all the way. Okay, so we're going to put this one, outside one, seal back in the bearing. Okay, so that's all there is to packing. Now you go on when you got 4 tracks and 11 to 12 idlers per track, it's a lot of bearings. On the other hand, you don't want to have to replace them. So a little bit of maintenance every 1 or 2 years saves you a lot of money. Okay, so there. So we got that. So I'm going to just wipe them all off. Now I did make a puller. I did a video on making the puller there. Fortunately, I didn't have to use it. They're all quite lubricated. But if you run into one that's got water in it and it's rusted, could rust onto the, or seize onto the shaft, so you need a puller to pull it off. So these just kind of slide off. So anyway, we got one, so I'm going to repeat that with all the rest of them, and then we'll continue with the video. I will take this shaft apart and I'll show you where it's bent. Okay, so this is the shaft that's bent, and what I did was I kind of noticed looked bent on the ends, but anyway, I put it on a flat surface like a table and roll it, and you can see right away it's bent right here, bent like this, and also the outside are bent too, so that's where the wheels go on. So anyway, these are the two bushings that go in there, and then we've got the sleeves right here, and when you put the wheel on and tighten it down, it squeezes those bushings and it sits into the frame. And these take red Loctite in these ones. So I had to order a shaft, but you can't buy the shaft separate, you buy a kit, and that's what you get, this and the two volts. So it comes in a kit, so I'm hoping to have this by October or November. They're going to be ordering some stuff and save me a little bit on shipping. So anyway, there's the shaft that it's got to go in, and that's for the rear. Now the front, like I say, it has this same type of thing, but it has the bushings that go on here and one idler on this side. This other shaft just takes two idlers, one on each side. So anyway, so you can finish packing all the bearings, and then I'll do that, and then we'll go through its installation. Okay, so we're back again. Okay, we're going to put the wheels on. I got them all greased now, repacked. Okay, so we're going to start and we're going to put our seals on. So there's the seal, and it has a little groove in here. So we're going to put a little bit of grease in there onto the groove, inside the groove. Okay, and then we just kind of push it on. And we're going to do that with all the rest of them. Okay, so now I got all the seals on. What I'm going to do is run a bead of grease all the way around. There's a kind of a groove in there. That kind of seals the bearing against the water. Okay, now I'm going to start with the end ones. Goes on. This one here. Okay, and the other side. Now we'll have the seals. I'll have to do the seals on the other side. Okay, so now I got the seals in the other side. I'm going to put the end ones on, and the reason I put the end ones on is it makes it a little more stable The last one I did kept falling over like that. Oops. Like that. Okay. If you want to, you can take the track right off. Just make sure you mark it. It actually is stamped in the edge of the track, inside, etc. Whatever side you go to. So it is stamped. These on, they just slide right on there. So then do the other side. Just fall. Okay, grab the other wheels. This one has 4 idlers on this side. Two. 3, 4. Okay, so now we got them all done. So all that's left is to put the bolts in, Loctite on the bolts. So be back when I'm set up. Okay, so I'm going to prep the bolts. What I'm going to do is I've got some brake clean, it's called. It's kind of an alcohol. And I'm going to just spray all the bolt threads because Loctite doesn't like dirt and oil. So spray them all down. Sprays a little bit of the oily residue off. What I had to do is take and put them on the wire brush on the grinder and clean all the threads with the clean all the Loctite off. Okay, so put all the washers on. Now once you're ready to do the Loctite, you want to make sure you torque it right away. You don't want to let it sit for an hour or two because the Loctite will go hard on you. So it's an anaerobic, it's called, and that means it hardens in the absence of air. Okay, so one of these is the red one. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So we're going to put the red one in first. We've got some red Loctite. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put that red one in first. And that's the one with that Y shaft. Okay, so now we'll go with the blue. And we're going to put all these in. The rest of them. Okay. Okay, so we're doing the Loctite now. I guess I forgot to turn on video. We did the red one here. Now we're doing all the blue. Okay, when I get this done, we'll start again. Okay, so I'm just winding in all the bolts, the ratchet. And we've got our torque wrench set at 55 foot-pounds. And where did my socket? Okay, so now we're going to just go torque them all. Click. Okay, this is the red one here. On that Y-axle. Tight. That's all the way in. Okay, so we gotta hold it down. Trying to tip the other two idlers up. Hard one. This is my first front one, so okay, we're almost there. just got the other side to do, and then we'll finish it off. So we got those bearings packed. All left to do is put the caps on, the rubber caps, and in the fall when I'm putting the tracks on, I will put the gear oil in under the caps, tip the track on that side, and squeeze that 5 millimeters in there. If you go back to the track install video, I cover that in that one. Anyway, so I have one more track left to do, and then I'm finished this, and I'm just waiting for the shaft to come in, but I'm not in a hurry. So we're going to give you a couple of tips here. You can take it to a dealer if you want, if you're not very handy or whatever, but be prepared. It took me an hour and a half to 3 hours per track. First one was about 3 hours, and I got a little better at it. So if you have to pay someone to do it, you be prepared for at least an hour and a half labor per track, so times 4. So it will cost quite a bit of money. The other thing is make sure you check those shafts, make sure they're not bent. I don't know how I bent it. Might have hit a log on the river, or possibly I hit a chunk of ice or something, but I don't remember hitting anything, but obviously it bent somehow. So, but anyway, so that's all for now. I'll post this video as soon as I can, and hopefully you can watch it and get everything straight and do it yourself. By the way, it is for X4S and Sam tracks. Now, different tracks have different number of idler wheels, different sizes. Some of the old ones, they don't have replaceable bearings, so you want to make sure you pack them. If you have to replace the bearings on the old tracks, you have to do the whole wheel with the bearings in it. So that can get pretty pricey. So anyway, that's all for now from Flatlander Mike. Make sure you push the subscribe button and like, and we'll see you on the next one.